Yar, we're going to be doing some distribution today.
That's far.
What's that?
It's not British.
Okay, quit heckling me. Let's learn. Okay, then skip it. Go on. Distribution. This is important. This is about distribution? Okay, I'm filming.
Whoa.
What is it? Don't ask me questions right about that. Distribution. What do you know distribution to be? What is distribution? Where have you heard that word? Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
I know this. Me. I.
I only have 10 minutes. That's it. Don't yell, don't yell.
Distribution. Okay. Go to somebody else. Distribution.
I love that. I know distribution.
Okay, so much for audience participation. Okay, guys, honestly, now we're at a minute, all right? Distribution is when you take something and you move it out. Okay, can you think of an example of distribution? Yes.
It's like if you're in a warehouse, like we have a product like Coca-Cola, and then they're like, we need to deliver it to stores.
Awesome.
And they distribute it out to stores.
Perfect. How do we get papers to students? We distribute them to students. How do you get your report cards? We distribute them. So I take a giant pile and I pass them out. So what we're doing is that we're moving that material to different groups of people. Okay? Now, just because I'm filming doesn't mean I'm not watching you guys as well, just so you know. Okay? So, biggest example I like to use is Costco. Costco is this massive international company. Does everyone know what Costco is? Okay. Now, cool. Costco has a giant warehouse. Okay? In the warehouse, what's something you buy at Costco?
Corn chips.
What's that?
Corn chips.
Corn chips. Okay, so our distribution center, guys, thanks. The distribution center has like hundreds of thousands of cases of corn chips. Okay? I feel like I should just stop and give you guys a quiz. Okay. If you know this stuff, get your Gauss contest, work on that. Do some math today, don't just sit. What they're gonna do is that we're gonna put X number of corn chips into each of the Costco's. So if we wanna put 10 cases of chips into each Costco, we take 10 to this one, we take 10 to this one, we take 10 to this one. That's the basic principle. I hope you can do this by the time I'm done, okay? Yeah. What we're doing is that we have to get out of this bracket. Anytime we have brackets, we can use the distributive law. As we go through, like down here, what is 3 plus 4? 7. It's 7. What is 4 times 7? What is 4 times 7?
Oh, it's 40, no, it's 28.
28. So if we use standard order of ops, I get 28. Guys, can you stop folding papers? It's going to get picked up. Thanks. Let's use the distributive law though. So I have a 4 outside of the bracket. If I multiply each of the terms on the inside of the brackets by the number on the outside, you look like the Pope. Okay? Let's see what happens. So 4 times 3 plus 4 times 4. See if we get the same answer. What's 4 times 3?
7. 4 times 3.
Times?
Times.
4 times 3 is? 12. 4 times 4?
16.
Do I get the same answer?
No. Well, yeah.
28?
Oh, wait, yeah, you do.
28 and 28? To me, in my books, that's the same answer. Okay?
Oh, never mind.
So what we need to do, though, is that this is attached by a multiplication. So the distributive law states that if I multiply each term inside the bracket by the constant in front is the same as following order of ops. It's called distribution. Okay? Do you see how we've taken that 4 and we've kind of moved it in? By the way, these rainbows, guys, can you please stop folding paper? Thanks. These rainbows, I still draw them in after how many years of doing math? A lot. That's how I do it. Let's take a look at this. What is 4 squared? 16. That 2 is actually being distributed inside the bracket. So this gives me 4 times 4, which is 16. How about this one? 4 over 7 squared. What does the law state? The law states that if we distribute whatever is outside the bracket to each term within the bracket, it is the same thing. So when we do this, the 4 squared divided by 7 squared. See how we've distributed the square into the brackets? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a look at another example. Leave the paper.
I want that one.
You can have it as soon as I'm done filming. Okay? If we look at the square root of 14 divided by 21, the square root serves as a bracket. So distribute the square root into each term. This is the same as the square root of 14. Guys, just not when I'm filming. Over the square root of 21. I can distribute this square root into each of those terms. Does that make sense? Nod or shake your head.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
If only you could see what I'm looking at right now. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to do this right away because it's going to come up really fast. This is our basics of algebra. So when we get into algebra, we start to get variables. In this variable, I have an x. But what do you think I'm going to multiply each one of these terms? Now, a term has a positive or a negative. It also has a number, and it may have a variable. That's what a term is. So here, I've got positive 2x and positive 4. I'm going to multiply the 2 by each of those terms. What's 2 times 2?
4.
4. If I have 2 apples in the inside, now how many do I have? 2 times 2 is? 4. I get 4 apples. The x just comes along. 2 times positive 4 is positive 8. Do you see how I have no more brackets left there? This is the magic. You need to be able to do that. Here's a tough one. Negative 3 times negative 2x minus 4. What laws come into play now? Not algebra.
Oh, that's integer.
Integers. Don't freak out. What is negative 3 times negative 2? Negative 3 times negative 2. Negative times a negative is a? Positive. So I get positive 6x. What is negative 3 times negative 4? Hide the sign. What is 3 times 4? 12. Same sign? Positive 12. Thank you for the song in the back. That's the distributive law.
You okay?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if she is, but that's okay. 7 over 9 squared. What's the answer going to be? 7 over 9 squared. 7 times 7 on the top, so I'm going to square the top, square the bottom. What's the answer? What's 7 squared? You didn't memorize it from the last video?
7 squared is, it's
49 over 81.
there, got it, boom.
That's distribution in a nutshell.